Welcome back to ASG Motorsports, guys and girls. We're here to talk to you today about our range of Haltech products. The fact that we're what we call a legacy dealer. We've been dealing Haltech products for over 20 years. So that says that we have more than 20 years experience in the industry if we've been dealing their products, as well as wiring up, tuning and supporting these products as well. So as some of you might be aware, we've got a 5th gen Camaro 2011 that we're doing a twin turbo LSX engine build for. It's going to be a vehicle that we use for roll racing, radial drag racing, and just basically taking on cruise days and rolling around in the streets with the air conditioning running and hopefully around 12 or 1300 horsepower at the wheels. So what I've set out here today to show you is the range of products that I'm going to put onto our own Camaro project, and utilising these ECU, the Elite 2500 with the Haltech REM or race expansion module. We're going to integrate all of that on the CAN bus system here as well, to do with the Haltech CAN bus and connecting it to talk with the actual factory GM CAN bus, so we can make the original dash and gauges and all that sort of stuff work on the vehicle, so we don't actually destroy a brand new Camaro and not have all the nice functioning bells and whistles and lights on the dash that would normally work. So we're going to use the Elite 2500. It comes in two versions. It comes in a T-box or just an Elite 2500. So the T-box version utilises the advanced torque management function, but it doesn't give us the extra inputs and outputs that we will require on this vehicle. So we're going to use a normal Elite 2500 with the race expansion module. So the race expansion module gives us the T-box function, or the torque management as it's called, and then it gives us the extra inputs and outputs that we require for a 16 injector setup and other inputs that we need for sensors that need to operate at the right speed or frequency, so that we can get the functionality out of the ECU and the system to do the job that we need it to do. So we start with the ECU, we connect it with the CAN bus on the race expansion module, and then we're going to use sensors, typically 150 psi sensors, TI sensors for oil and fuel pressure, to give us the protection that we can set up in engine protection in the ECU, so that if we have a low oil pressure or a low fuel pressure issue with the vehicle, the computer can be programmed by the tuner to set a limp mode or a engine protection mode at whatever function and tables we desire. It's not a very good setup product if you have engine protection set up and your tuner's left the rev limiter or the limp home limiter at 7,000. That's not going to help you any. So all that conditioning, it's called, or functionality of the ECU, needs to be correctly set up by the tuner that you choose. We're also going to use another 150 psi TI sensor in the coolant system. So we're going to measure the pressure inside the cooling system. This isn't a new function or something that's super advanced, but it's not something you see every day on all the cars. By doing this, I can then log and see what's going on with the pressure inside the cooling system, so I can determine whether we're lifting the heads at a certain boost level or if the vehicle just purely has a blown head gasket. Once I know that, parameters of where we're going to be with that, as a tuner I can then set up engine protection, so that if it does start to lift the head doing a run, whether we're roll racing or street racing, it'll put the vehicle into a safety mode, engine protection, limp home mode, and then we can determine from the logs and the data what the problem was, whether it was oil or fuel or a coolant pressure event, and then we can work out what the problem is with the vehicle and then hence fix it. So that's another really good function of the Haltech. We're going to use a 5-bar TI sensor on the LS engine in this vehicle, so we don't need any more than 40 pounds of mappable boost pressure for this car. If we were doing a 2J or one of my 2J race engine packages for the guys in the Middle East, we'd be wanting to run 70 or 80 pounds of boost in those race engines, so we'd want to run a 10-bar map sensor. So 7-bar and 10-bar map sensors are available. We use our standard intake air temperature sensor with the standard coolant temperature sensor. We're also going to measure the oil temperature of the transmission, so I can keep an eye on the power glide transmission and make sure that the converter's not slipping too much, etc, etc. With our torque management and our boost control, we're going to attach two of the rotary trim modules, which are 9-position switches that Haltech supply. And we're going to use one for boost control to give us a mappable boost table that we can change the different boost graphs we want to use. And then we're going to use the other switch for the different levels of torque management that we want. So if we're roll racing, we might be on torque management setting 1. If we go to the drags and we're doing radial racing, we might be on torque management setting 3. All of that will be determined on how I map the torque management tables as a tuner. So it gives us the functionality to be able to change boost and torque management at the tip of your fingers without even having to connect the laptop. This is really good for the driver in certain circumstances, depending on track conditions, road conditions, etc., etc. The other thing that we're using in this vehicle is a wideband, a dual wideband kit for a V8, one in each bank. That can give us short-term and long-term fuel trims. The Haltech wideband kit is extremely fast. The functionality of it is really good. There's lots of mappable axis available to make that work to suit each tuner's application. The other thing that we got with Haltech's deal here is we're going to put in this car, because we're going to use the standard dash in our 5th gen Camaro, but I do want to be able to flick through and look at different things along the way with the Haltech without having to actually put my laptop onto the car. So we're going to use one of Haltech's OLED gauges, which allows us via the CAN bus connection to be able to scroll through this gauge into different levels of oil pressure or fuel pressure or coolant pressure or whatever it is that I want to look at, and we can see all of that on the screen of this gauge. The other really good thing that Haltech produces with these kits is that they make a wiring harness, a universal wiring harness that we've got here that we can use for just about any vehicle that we wish to wire up. So there's no need for us to spend a lot of money on wiring harness and mil-spec wiring if we don't need it. Yes, it's great and lots of guys like to use it, but this harness kit has a 2-inch bulkhead fitting that goes in via a grommet rather than a mil-spec plug, which saves a lot of money. The harness is extremely good wiring. The quality of the harness has been that we've never had a problem with it. When we produce this harness as a wired-in harness, we will Raychem heat shrink it, we will label everything individually, and it'll all be glued and resined and everything will be done and finished off as to what you would see in a motorsport harness. So at the end of the day, everything that we have here is going to give us the full functionality to be able to control boost, timing, torque management, drive-by-wire throttle control, idle control, integrated CAN bus technology so that we can talk to the factory ECU's CAN bus and the Haltech CAN bus to get the dash and the gauges working and so on and so forth. So there's a lot that we're going to do here. It's going to be a very, very difficult system in the way that we wire it up. It's not a 5-minute job, but this is the benefit of having an Australian-made product by Haltech that we've been using for 20 plus years. So we have a company that's here in Australia during business hours we can call for technical support. We have a company that's here in Australia if we have any problems with our products that they will deal with it immediately, and we don't have time differences and delays with shipping if there's any problems. What we do have is a quality built product that works extremely well, and I benchmark it against anything else on the market. The other really good thing is that Haltech produce another range of products to go with all of the other street vehicles. We have entry-level ECUs, we have pro plug-in ECUs, and a whole range of other management systems for pretty much all the vehicles that you can do. So if you want to get your ECUs or get your Haltech products, feel free to give us a call. We'll talk to you about what the best product is for your package. We do a sales, support, installation and dyno tuning for all the Haltech products. And if you come on board with ASG Motorsports and you buy your Haltech package through us, we fit it and tune it. I guarantee we'll look after you on price, and I guarantee we'll give you the support and the backing that you deserve. So any questions, just feel free to give us a call here at the shop and we'll try and help you out as best as we can.